What is up, guys? Charley Pangus here. Welcome to another drawing tablet review. I'm excited about this one, guys, because we have a pen display here versus the traditional drawing tablets that you actually draw on while you're looking at the screen. So this one's really exciting because I can take the pen here and I can actually draw on the screen. As you guys can see, it works. A company by the name of GearBev sent this to me. It's the UGEE 1910 model, and it's a 19-inch display, and I'm really stoked about that because it's actually quite a large display for just under $450. So it's really not that bad on the price. There's a lot of good things about it, but there's also some bad things about it that I want to go over with you guys today. So just like on the last tablet review I did, I'm gonna go over the pros, the cons, what I like, what I don't like about it basically, and give you guys my honest review. I did not get paid to make this video. This is my honest review. They simply sent me this to review, and that's basically all. So I did get a free tablet out of this. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything, guys, but I'm not getting paid to say anything. So this is my honest review, and if you guys like it, pick it up. If you don't, totally fine. It doesn't affect me in any way. So let's go and do this. So the pros of this thing: it has a large display. That's the obvious pro, right? It's a very nice display. It's a 19-inch display, and you can't go wrong with that. Usually they're around 14 to 15 inches. To think that you can get a 19-inch pen tablet display under $450 is insanity. I mean, think about that. If you go to Wacom and buy a Cintiq, even if it's a 15-inch, they're gonna charge you around $1,200. So this price point is really competitive, and it's crazy to me that they can get it that low. So really cool. So that's the #1 pro here. Now the next pro I have on this thing is it comes with 2 pens instead of 1, which is a nice thing because if you break one, guess what? You have another one as a backup, and it also comes with extra pen tips, which you can find in the dock, which is another pro. It comes with a dock. So if you unscrew this thing, you have different pen tips. And that's really nice because those come in handy. Sometimes these things do break, and if you need to change out the pen tip or the pen nib, I think is what they call it, you can do that. So really cool. And it acts like a little dock, a little stand, which is nice when you put it on the table and it just kind of stays out of your way. So 2 pens, comes with extra pen tips and the docking station right there. Nothing too fancy, pretty standard, but it's nice that you have those options. Another pro is that the pen is rechargeable, which is a big plus for me because I hate putting batteries in these. When you have to put batteries in things, it adds up over time, and it's just a pain in the ass, to be honest with you guys. This charges fairly quickly, and you just basically plug in the charger in the back here, and I think it charges like within an hour, but the charge lasts you a very long time. I think it lasts you a few weeks at least if you're using it nonstop, but really cool, and I'm so glad I don't have to buy batteries anymore. Another pro to this tablet is that it's very easy to install, and it supports both Windows and Mac, which is super awesome, and that's pretty standard nowadays. If a company didn't support both, I'd be a little concerned about them, but basically it comes with the CD here, and you just put it in, you run it while the tablet's actually plugged in and already set up, and it's really easy to install. You just run it, it restarts your computer, and it's done just like that. So really user friendly, and it really doesn't take a genius to install this. A lot of tablets can be difficult to install, and sometimes they're a little buggy, but I didn't have any issues with this, which is a plus. Another pro that I have on this tablet is that it has really nice pressure sensitivity for the price. It has over 2,000 pressure levels. I'm not going to get into exact numbers, but basically that's really good, and especially for the price, you really can't go wrong. Now this thing is not perfect, and I'm going to get into the cons in a second, but it does feel nice. I've used it on several projects and I haven't had much issues with it, but I have ran into a few issues. But overall, it's really nice and it feels nice, and it's actually fun to use, which is a bonus. I just went over some of the pros, but unfortunately there are a lot of cons to this pen display as well, and I'm gonna go over them right now. So basically the #1 problem I had with this tablet was when I was drawing on it, I noticed that it would put a dot before the pressure sensitivity kicked in. So basically it'd be 1 dot, and then it would be a thin line, and then I would try to make a thick line. So I would have this nasty dot by my thin line, if that makes sense. And it was annoying, and I can't figure out why it's doing that, but it's a really frustrating thing, and it's a major con. You want your pen pressure sensitivity to be smooth. So when you're going from a thin stroke to a thick stroke, you want that to be smooth, but no. I have a big dot by the thin stroke that just adds automatically, and I can't figure out why it's doing that. It could be that this display is a broken one. I have no idea. It doesn't happen all the time, but it did happen to me quite a bit, and it was very annoying, and it would literally ruin something I was working on. Another con that I had with this tablet is I had to go into the menu and uncheck a few things to get the pen pressure sensitivity to even work, and sometimes I didn't have to do that, and I noticed I would have to unplug the cords in the back to make it work again. Sometimes the pen pressure sensitivity didn't work at all, and I would have to go in the back of the display and unplug all the cords and then plug it back in, which is really, really annoying. And basically after I did that, the pen pressure sensitivity would work. But before I even did that, what would happen was I would have one line thickness even though I told it I wanted pen pressure sensitivity on. So that was really frustrating. But like I said, once I unplugged it, plugged it back in, it finally started working again. And then sometimes I had to go into some menu settings and adjust some things, and then it worked as well. But really frustrating. Those are two big major cons, but I'm gonna keep going. Another one that's not so much of a big con, the screen is a little glossy. So basically when you're using it, you'll actually hear the pen on it, and sometimes it will make a screeching noise, and that really gets on my nerves. And it also leaves fingerprints like crazy. This thing is fingerprint happy. You guys probably can't hear it right now, but if you use it for long enough, you can hear screeching sometimes, and I think that's really annoying. I'm really shocked that they didn't add a matte finish to it. That is a minor con. If you can get over that, it's still a pretty cool display for under $450. It's really not a big deal. But it's a big deal for me when I want it to feel like paper. Keep in mind, I'm used to using Wacom tablets, and I also just had the Huon that I just reviewed, and that one has a paper-like texture. So going from those to this glossy display that's too smooth and it doesn't have any texture at all, it's really, really weird, but it is something you can get used to, and it's really not that big of a deal. So moving on to my next con, this one's not a big deal either, but it is for desk space. Now it's really bulky, guys, and the thing with that is it not only does it take up a lot of desk space, but why the hell does it have to be bulky? It's 2017 and they make pen displays that are way thinner than this. It's not a big deal if you have a huge desk, but if you have a tiny desk like me, this thing takes up a ton of room, and I'm just really shocked that it's so bulky. But again, it's really not a big deal. It's preference. Everybody's gonna have their own opinion on it. Some people might not care, some people might care. But in my opinion, I think it's a little too bulky. But again, I'm not really complaining that much about it. I wish I had a bigger desk so I can fit it better. Right now, I'm kind of like claustrophobic on my desk. I'm trying to fit everything on there and it doesn't fit very well. Moving on to my very last con, and this one's not a big deal because of the price point. Now keep in mind, guys, this thing is under $450 compared to $1,200 that the competitors cost. So to think that this thing's so cheap, you kind of have to let some of the cons go and just get over it because of how well this thing is priced. And it does work really well for the price. So moving on to my last con, the last con I have for this thing is the pen display itself. The resolution is not the best. It says 1080p, but it definitely doesn't feel like 1080p. It feels more like 720p, and it doesn't seem very clear to me. And also the color representation is very off compared to my other monitor. And this is kind of a big deal in the graphic design world because we want to have true colors and we want a rich display, especially since we're creating graphics for clients sometimes. And it is a big deal when you can't get the colors right. So that is it for this tablet review. But if you guys are looking to save money, I would definitely recommend this tablet to you. But if you're working at a higher level and you're working for big corporate companies and you need something higher end, I would definitely recommend a Wacom Cintiq because this thing does have inaccurate color representation, which is a big deal, and the display isn't the nicest. But if you want to save money, like I said, this thing is great, and I really don't have a lot of complaints. When it works great. Sometimes it bugs out, but other than that, it's been working pretty good for me. I will put their links in the description below if you guys want to pick one up. I definitely recommend it. Like I said, I think it's a great tablet. It does have its cons, but for the price, you really can't go wrong. And even big companies like Apple that charge top dollar for their products have problems. So nothing's perfect, guys. So I can definitely overlook the cons, and I will be using this tablet further. As always, let me know what you guys thought about this product review in the comment section below. Hit the thumbs up button if you so desire. Subscribe if you haven't already, and you guys can follow me on Instagram at CharleyPangus. I'm always on there, and I'm always replying to your guys' messages. But that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.